friends, Amanda here. Welcome back to Handmade Now Hallmark, and today I've got my first card of the year featuring some beautiful embossing snowflakes and some fun ink blending. I really hope you enjoy this card, and let's get into it. The first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get all of my ink blending done, and I'm going to be using my regular Distress inks today. These are the mini ink cubes, but you could use Distress oxide inks, or you could even use dye inks for this. Any kind of method that you like will work just fine. I'm starting out with a piece of pale blue cardstock. I'm not exactly sure which company this came from. It was in my scrap bin, and so I decided to use it today, but any pale blue, or you could even use white to get started. I really like using colored cardstock to do ink blending, especially whenever I'm trying to go for a more dramatic look, because it really helps you kind of start with a really nice soft base, and then you can build the color up from there. I'm using Salty Ocean, Chipped Sapphire, and Black Soot today, and I think this card would be fun to do in like purples or in like pale pinks as well. Would make for a really fun card. It's one of my favorite ways to kind of get my mind back into creating. I know it has been a little while since I was here making cards, but I've been very busy. This card is also my very first card with Whimsy Stamps. I am part of their design team this year, and I'm super excited to be a part of that. So that's been on my mind, working, getting some things ready for them, and getting back into it and creating cards for the new year. So that's where I've been, but don't worry, I am back, and I am super excited to be back. So I'm going to speed up the ink blending here just a little bit, just to speed the process along. Again, I'm just ink blending, going back and forth with my colors until I'm satisfied. The colors will kind of soften and blend out. I'm not super concerned about getting a perfect blend because I am going to be doing lots of ink blending on top. But either way, I love the way that it looks, and I'm going to set it off to the side to completely dry on its own before I start doing any heat embossing. I want to make sure that it's nice and dry so that I don't have anything sticking. The stamp set that I'm using today is called Snow Flurries, and it is by Whimsy Stamps, and I just fell in love with it as soon as I saw it. Anything with snowflakes, you're going to get me. I absolutely love snowflake stamp sets, die sets, stencils, everything. Because they're so versatile. You can definitely use them for, your Christmas cards, but you can also use them for winter cards. And at first I was just going to make this a kind of a winter celebration card, but I turned it in, I felt like it's more of maybe a birthday card or a thinking of you card. You could definitely, change the sentiments out and do it for any type of card for any occasion during the winter season. I am going to be using 3 different kinds of embossing powder today. I'm going to be using Brutus Monroe Alabaster White Embossing Powder, Brutus Monroe's Sterling Silver, and Ranger's Clear Embossing Powder. You could use any that you have in your stash. I felt like the whites, clear, and the silver went really well with my blue background, and I wanted to keep kind of my supplies to a minimum. I'm also using VersaFine ink to do all of the embossing as well. And you don't necessarily have to use a MISTI for this or any stamp positioner, but it just helps get a really good impression whenever you're doing stamping. If it's just one small kind of snowflake, I think you could get away with using acrylic blocks, but I prefer using my MISTI when I'm doing lots of embossing like this. It just helps me get really good stamping and doesn't kind of impede the process, so I don't have to restart all over. So I'm going to stamp these snowflakes twice, and there's no rhyme or reason or perfect way to place your snowflakes. You just kind of go with what you think looks the best. I decided to put my main greeting on first, so I knew I had it where I wanted it, and then I can kind of cascade the snowflakes down around it. And I didn't want to fill the card completely with snowflakes. I just wanted it to be a nice soft kind of flow of snowflakes, like they're flowing down from the sky. And this card was so perfect because we just got like 5 inches of snow. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but here in central Pennsylvania, when I was growing up, we used to get so much snow, and anymore we don't really get that much. We usually only get it in January, February anymore. On the rare occasion we might get a white Christmas, but in the past few years we haven't really got one. So when we got all the snow, we were all really excited. The kids were super excited to go out and play in the snow and just have a really good time. The first thing I did was I stamped down some snowflakes with some of that clear embossing powder. I really like the way that clear looks. It almost makes them look like icicles or makes them look like they're ice, and it really brings that blue color in from the background. And the next one I'm going to go in with is some more white, and then I'm going to do some silver. So again, there is no right or wrong way on choosing which embossing powder to use first. You could definitely use silver, you could definitely use white, you could do all white, you could do all silver. I just like using the mix of embossing powders because it makes it really fun, and you can definitely stamp over top of any snowflakes that you've already done because the embossing powder will just, or embossing will just sit right on top of it, which I think is super, super fun. I think a fun stencil with this as well would be another way to kind of add some more interest. You could do a stencil with some glitter paste or do some fun, you know, kind of tone on tone stamping. Anything like that would really elevate a card like this. Make it your own. Do what makes you happy and what really kind of inspires you. I've done cards like this in the past. As you can see here, I've got all of my snowflakes done. There wasn't anything special, that's why I kind of cut the video a little bit. I just added a few more snowflakes around the bottom, and then one more here right near the sentiment, another small one, and I'm going to use the silver for that one. Once I was all done with my embossing, I'm going to clean up my station here, and I'm going to work on my greeting. So again, I was at first going to do this like a Let It Snow kind of card, but I felt like that was a bit Christmassy. So I decided to stamp the other greeting, one of the other greetings from the same Snow Flurry stamp set that says "One Like You." So it'll say "Snow One Like You." In my mind, when I put the greeting on top of it, I read it "Snow One Like You" because I saw the snow being bigger. Hindsight, I probably should have put it below it, but either way, I love the way that the card turned out. I love the greeting, everything like that. I think it's super cute, and I can definitely use this for a winter birthday or, you know, just a thinking of you card. I did stamp this on some soft navy cardstock from Simon, and I'm going to use my scissors to fussy cut out this greeting. One of my favorite ways to kind of do these scripty sentiments is to cut them out with my fussy scissors instead of doing like a strip or a die, because I don't want to have too much blue kind of covering up any of those snowflakes. I really want it to be a part of the whole card. There you can kind of see where I'm going with this. And now we can get the card base ready. I am using a top folding A2 size card base to make a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. And this is Simon Says Stamp 120 pound cardstock. Gonna get that scored. And I am going to trim my main panel down just a little bit. I think I might take like a 1/16 off. I don't really have a measurement for it. I just trimmed off a little bit so that I could have a nice thin border all the way around. I'm sure there's a die out there that would cut an exact dimension off, but I have a tendency to screw up. When I do that, my die will shift, or for some weird reason, my dies have a tendency to kind of like bow inward, especially when I'm using rectangle dies, and I don't know why they do that. It's real subtle, but it's enough that I notice it and it really bothers me. So whenever I'm trying to just do a small amount, I'll just use my paper trimmer and trim it off. I'm going to use my Barely Arts adhesive to adhere my panel down to my card base. And you'll see that I'll have a nice thin border all the way around to kind of mat the whole scene, which I love. It looks so pretty. And then I can go ahead and attach my sentiment with some foam tape. I wanted to pop it up just to give it a little bit of dimension because this is a 1-layer card. Now, if you wanted to add dimension to this and make it a little bit more interesting and fun, I think adding some dimensional snowflakes on top of this embossing would be really, really cute. You could do them in vellum, you could do them in glitter cardstock, or you know, like silver matte or anything like that. I think would be really pretty. It would add a lot of dimension and interest to the card. So that's another idea. So I hope that inspires you. I always get inspired when I go back through and watch my videos. I always come up with more ideas. So once I had that in place, I wanted to go in with some finishing details. I'm going to go in with some cream pearl embellishments from This Calls for Confetti. I felt like this was a really nice way to add some dimension and shine to the card. Not that there isn't enough shine with the silver embossing powder, but I really love the different sizes of the pearls that you get in this packet. Like there's some really big ones, and then there's some really teeny weeny ones, which I absolutely love. I love the variety in this, and the pearl goes really nicely with the embossing. And I just wanted to add some here and there. I don't really have a kind of method to where I place these things. At first I was going to add them to the centers of the snowflakes. I did on a few, but in the end I felt like I wanted to fill in some spots in between the snowflakes just to add in, again, some more interest and dimension. Again, this is completely optional. You could leave the card just like this. It would be beautiful on its own. But again, I really felt like this was a fun way to kind of dress the card up and give it just a little bit more pizzazz or wow, I guess. And who doesn't love confetti? I love this company so much. They have so many amazing products. And again, I love the variety of sizes in this. I love that you don't have to buy multiple packs to get different sizes. These have just, it was perfect. Absolutely perfect. I have nothing but great reviews about this product. So fun. Gonna add a few more of these embellishments here and there, and then I'm gonna go in with Nuvo Shimmer pen and add sparkle to the greeting. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Stardust glitter pen and I'm gonna just go around and add little dots of shimmer around the snowflakes. Again, completely optional. You don't have to do this, but I felt like it added, again, a little bit more to the background, and it's glitter. Why not, right? I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch. If you enjoyed, please consider hitting that like button as well as to subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos here at my YouTube channel. Again, I really appreciate you guys stopping by and taking the time. I'll catch up with you again real soon. Bye.
On screen, I've got a few videos that I think you'll enjoy. Consider hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more videos at my YouTube channel.